This is Jared.
It's Keels.
And we're back at it again with another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. And this week we saw the episode SP-129 and Karate Choppers. So before we get into the synopsis, I'm going to ask you, Keels, do you know why the title is SP-129? Because I found this out
So I'm
recently.
assuming it's SpongeBob. I don't know. Did it come out December 9th?
No, so I was at Rhode Island Comic Con. I think this was a couple years ago, and there was an animator there who was selling like the cells from SpongeBob. And he's the one who told me this fact. It's called SP-129 because it's SpongeBob Season 1, the 29th episode. And it's 29 if you can, because, you know, they do it as like the 11, 12-minute segments, but that's why it's SP-129. They wanted it's a lazy title. I'm like,
yeah.
Wow. It's kind of cool. All right, so in this episode, Squidward is, as usual, trying to play his clarinet, wants peace from SpongeBob and Patrick. But what makes this episode different is that he realizes that the Krusty Krab is closed since it's a Sunday. Another hint that the Krusty Krab might be their universe's Chick-fil-A. But,
wow.
Just saying, deep cut. But he goes to the Krusty Krab hiding from them, and turns out that he gets locked in the freezer and ends up in the future. When he goes into the future, you know, they have a time machine, and Squidward essentially hits the future, the past, and limbo, I'll call it.
Yeah.
So, we'll start off, Keels. So, what was your favorite joke of the episode?
Let me see. When Squidward gets out of the freezer, because 2,000 years had passed.
2,000 years later, yeah.
First off, that's insane.
Right?
That's insane.
Imagine your life getting frozen just 2,000 years later.
Right. You wake up 2,000 years later.
Dang.
So, yeah, he gets up, talks to SpongeBob, and he's like, you know, where am I and all that. He's like, oh, you're in the future.
Hmm?
Then he's like, okay, why is everything chrome? And then he looks outside, and literally everything is chrome and shiny.
You forgot the one dude who pulls up in the car with
And
a flower.
Yeah, and that's my favorite joke. So a random flower blooms up out of the ground, and it's purple. So out of nowhere, this I don't even know.
He's just a driver.
He's just a driver, and he goes
His
around.
His job
and
is to chrome up Bikini Bottom.
He spray paints the flower chrome, and so yeah, I mean it makes me ask the question. So it's like,
why
is everything naturally chrome, or was it just that? Like,
I feel like that's proof right there, because like obviously when you look at Bikini Bottom, like what we're used to it looking like, it's flowers, it's sand, you know, it's bubbles, things like that. So my thing is, what happened within the 2,000 years to make Bikini Bottom go chrome? Like, I understand it's a very futuristic trope, but it's like, why chrome? Like,
my thing is like, how do y'all even know about that old futurism, like how it's supposed to look? Because like that stuff is from TV and stuff.
Exactly.
So like, how do you know? How do you even know to do that?
Bikini Bottom's out here progressing. I don't know, man. Like, but it's just crazy. I need a backstory for why it's chrome. The only thing I can think of, there had to have been some war that happened, and it's literally like they were fighting over chrome. Like, billions of fish died, and then it's like, we're gonna preserve the chrome in this,
wow,
like, something like that.
What's your favorite joke? What's one of your favorite jokes?
So, I think that my favorite joke is it's a long stretch one. So when Squidward goes to the past and he takes the loincloth from the BC version of SpongeBob and Patrick, he's like, oh, it's called jellyfishing, and it pays off because at the very end of the episode, you know, the present day SpongeBob and Patrick are like, oh, does this mean we can go jellyfishing? Squidward's like, who's the idiot who invented that anyway? You are Squidward. I'm like, wow. I just love little touches like that because it's just like, it's true. He really did go back in time and do it. It's like, you've seen Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
So if you actually go back and watch the movie, the continuity for certain things in 1985 before he goes back in time is different from when he comes back. So the most common one is, you know how Marty, when he comes back, he runs into like the pine trees and whatever, the pine barrens?
No.
So the mall, when he goes, before he goes back in time, is called Twin Peak. Like a Twin Pine like mall. Mm. But when he comes back, because he ran through the pine barrens, it's called Lone Peak. So it's little things like that where I'm like, wow, they really paid attention to detail. So it's a joke where I'm like, it's out there.
Yeah.
But if you want a subtle joke, before when Squidward is hiding, I pointed this out. I was like, yo, it's right there. As a kid, it always got me by surprise. There's a quick shot where Patrick looks directly at Squidward hiding in the freezer and looks the other way. Like, it's insane. It's
We're gonna have to watch that part again.
He knows what he's doing.
Wow, he left him in there? That's crazy.
Left him in there. It's crazy. I also, I guess we'll go into, like, one other joke was Patar, where it's Patrick with two heads, and you were like, I don't f*** with that. And I'm just like, listen, I mean, normally two heads are better than one, but not in Patrick's case. Like,
no, not at all.
So what would you change? Because you were having difficulty on that, right?
Honestly, I don't think I would change anything. Well, like Squidward, I would definitely change the interior of the time machine for sure.
Yeah.
That joint was ugly.
Yeah.
What was it? Pink carpet and
pink carpeting.
Like green and dark green.
The wallpaper.
Wallpaper. It just reminded me of like, I don't know, just trashy home decorating.
Elevator music going, and even when he broke the thing, it was a slot machine.
Hilarious.
It was a slot machine when he broke it.
Yeah.
Like,
it was like a piece of the wall. Like, where did that come from?
I don't even know. Oh yeah. So when it went back in time, it was like the future. It was like a chunk. So like the entire chunk of it went back.
Right.
Which is. It harkens back to, what is it, the Taurus, I think it is, from Doctor Who? I think, yeah, where it's like a phone booth so...
That I don't know.
It basically, it's like the trope of time machine things, where it's like, maybe a DeLorean, sometimes it's an elevator, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's a phone booth, sometimes it's a bicycle, it's just in the time machine. So they did little callbacks there. But the thing I would change, so... I think there could have been an opportunity to put funny subtitles for the BC SpongeBob and Patrick.
That's a good one.
And I just feel like,
that's
because you're really banking on their actions and everything. Yeah. But like even the scene where like the drool was dripping, like it could have been like something funny there, just to kind of get them in. And even flash forwarding to the SpongeBob BC episode, I guess that was the intention of it, where you're supposed to understand like everything they're doing, but subtitles helps, And then meme-worthy moment. I feel like it's obvious.
There's two actually.
So what do you think?
There's two.
Because I got mine.
We already know it's future. Future.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. All right.
Wait, that's not the one that you said?
I was talking about Alone.
That was the second one.
Okay, that's the
second. That was the second one. Okay.
So we have the same page, but I completely forgot about the future. Wow. I feel like that one is more popular than the Alone thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 100%.
But Alone is definitely up there.
Alone.
Because like that part of the episode was like so different.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Like, I don't even know where Squidward was. Like, but the crazy thing is when he was like jumping, he went back to the time machine. So it's like, I don't know, but it was creepy.
That was crazy.
When he was running in place and it was just a loop of him running, I'm like, yo, I do not want to be. Imagine sleeping there.
Can you even sleep?
I don't know. You say anything, it becomes a word. Like, you imagine you sneeze, achoo, 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 achoo.
That's you.
Yo, they were going into the different texts of it. Just, even as a kid,
so weird.
It was weird.
That was weird.
Any final thoughts before we jump into karate choppers? Because I know that's going to be a whole thing.
Nah, I mean, with SB-129, another funny joke is when they got mad after Squidward was playing his clarinet. Mm-hmm. If he's getting all this money and stuff, why doesn't he just ever get lessons?
Yeah,
he's been practicing this whole time. He just...
Almost goes back to that episode. Boy, oh boy, I really hate playing the clarinet. I practice and practice all day long, but I never get any better.
Dang.
That was a direct quote from SpongeBob pretending to be Squidward.
That's true.
From the opposite day episode.
Wow.
Like, see, listen. He called it right back there. But he said it himself. I don't know. You know, it's also like the trope of Squidward. It's like, listen, he can't play the clarinet. Yeah. But he tries. He tries. It's just like, But I agree. He probably should get lessons. The crazy thing, I feel like there was maybe an episode where Squilliam, who's like definitely Squidward's antagonist, his like, you know, better half doppelganger. I feel like they play the clarinet the same. Like, I feel like there was an episode where maybe he played it like somewhat similar.
He plays clarinet too? Oh, no, I thought he played it better.
He might. Well, it might be perceived as better, but that's like always the thing. Like. You know, think about it. Even in the episode where they're doing the performance, SpongeBob was out there mopping. But Squidward, even though it was a bad performance, he at least was dancing.
Right.
You get my point? Like, it's just... I just feel like naturally anything Squidward does, he just nobody likes. It might be just him. Maybe the town just hates him.
You got a bad attitude.
Yeah, for real, yo. We'll save it for when we talk about it, but that last joke at the end, he just had to get his 2 cents in. So, anything else before we jump into? All right, so segueing into karate choppers. Oh boy, okay. Because Keel's discovered something in this, and I'm like, wow.
We gonna jump right into it?
We will. We'll get to the synopsis, and then we'll get into it. Yeah. So Karate Choppers is the first time that they introduced SpongeBob having the hobby of karate chopping, and he does it with Sandy.
Is it?
See, and I was really thinking about it. I'm like, no.
I'm trying to think of the early episodes.
They never... She definitely alludes to her knowing karate and being strong.
Yeah.
But the whole headgear with the giant fist... which is very safety regulated for Nickelodeon because, you know, kids. Yeah. But it's the first time that they are like, okay, we're doing this as a hobby. So they take, like, I'm going to say half the episode legit just doing their little shenanigans of, like, who's going to karate chop who's going to beat who. Yeah. Leading into SpongeBob seeing visions of Sandy, like karate chopping, and he almost jeopardizes his whole job.
He was losing it.
He was definitely getting paranoid for no reason. And it eventually leads to Mr. Krabs giving him the ultimatum, where it's like, listen, you got to stop doing karate or you're fired. It eventually leads to him catching, you know, him in the act, and I say it just like that because it's going to go into it, catch him in the act of doing karate, even though he was just standing there, but he gets fired, Sandy saves his butt. They try and urge the resistance of wanting to do karate. And if it does sound very suggestive, it's because, we're going to dive into it.
All right.
So, Keel's made a discovery, and I didn't even realize this until, it's a shame, it's been like 20-something years. Karate choppers, or them doing karate, is a metaphor for sex. And it sounds bizarre, but it's like, no, like, it is. Like, they're constantly doing it. They sometimes can't resist, like, not doing it.
It's affecting SpongeBob's work.
It's affecting yeah, that's another thing. But it's that one shot that really hit me when they're in the picnic, and they're just like, what do you want to do, karate right now? And their eyes just look at each other, then look away. It's like... Bro.
Yeah.
Even SpongeBob, when they finally urge the release of karate, SpongeBob is slumped. He got his hands back. Sandy's over here making him a sandwich. I'm like, it's right there.
I didn't even peep that part.
She was making a sandwich.
And he was laying back with his arms
behind
his head.
Why?
Wow.
Even when
he was satisfied.
Yo, he was like, wow. Even when they're doing karate at that part, you just see the dust bubble. It's obviously them fighting, but then Bikini Bottom is shaking up and down. I'm like, okay. Wow. Okay, SpongeBob.
They snuck that in.
They for sure did. Wow. And that's the crazy thing.
See, because it's that one line. Right now.
That's
and their eyes. Think.
It's their eyes. It's everything. The animation, the dialogue. There's no way this didn't go under the radar. And as a kid, over the head.
Wow.
I wonder if there were any adults. See, this is another thing, too. Like, this is another episode when you really rewatch it. I'm surprised it's not, like, talked about. Like, it's about to be talked about now.
You heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Subscribe to Bikini
You ain't
Bottom
never heard
Banter.
no takes like this.
For real. But
fresh takes.
Nah, like, it for sure is, it's a metaphor for sex.
Dang.
And they literally, when they do it, it's like they just, it's a release.
Right, true.
They make it known that it's like, oh, like, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, dang. But you would never get it. Like, it's just like, dang. So now that's the water's clear and it's just like, you look at this.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. What's up?
First off, my favorite joke. So, in the beginning, SpongeBob calls Sandy, and so then his arm like goes through the
phone, yeah.
Goes through the phone, and he's like hi-ya, trying to hit Sandy, karate chop Sandy over the phone. Is that phone sex?
That's what I was gonna say.
Wow.
Phone sex. Called him. Look.
That's insane.
Look at it differently. It's a different world now.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
What were some of your favorite jokes?
All right, so I have two. I definitely love the Sandy, this is your worst disguise. No, it ain't SpongeBob. This is, and it's like a cardboard. It's a knockoff Sandy. Yeah. Like, they legit, some animator, somebody snuck into Nickelodeon Studios, said this is the new Nickelodeon show, this is one of their top characters, and drew this mask and said they sold it somewhere outside of their house for like $1. It's like, we're gonna make it.
It's definitely one of those plastic masks that you get.
Right. Halloween dollar
cheap,
store.
Right, the cheap Walmart masks.
So that was definitely like a joke. The hot sauce one was like, that was, I'll give a shout out, that was the first appearance of Tom Kenny in live action, who's the voice of SpongeBob, so there. But again, this goes back to what we were saying about Squidward. My favorite, again, so when everything gets resolved at the end, SpongeBob's like, oh, I love karate. Sandy's like, I love karate. Mr. Krabs like, I like money. And then Squidward, I hate all of you.
Yeah.
Like, yo!
That's a funny joke.
He's mad because he didn't get a part in this episode. He's like, I hate all of you. Oh, we got to talk about Mr. Krabs. Because that was another funny joke when he's like, you better be making me some money.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Spatula.
Karate. You should be making me some money, eh? I still say that
with
to
your
this
money.
day.
With your spatula.
And then, what's another favorite one? I wonder if Mr. Krabs ever did karate. Blam!
Blam!
That part always made me laugh.
Oh, yeah, because he got caught red-handed. Got caught red-handed, see?
Ooh, dang, got caught
This
red-handed.
has a different feel now when you go back and look at these jokes, you're like, wow, like, I can't unsee it.
It was having sex. That's crazy.
You can't unsee it. I never thought we would be told. Wow. That's enough. So this is also, I think, low-key Mr. Krabs is racist against mammals.
Funny.
Yo, he literally, like, that one shot when he just sniffs his nose, like, mammals. And I'm like,
that was racist vibes. That was definitely racist vibes.
But it's a little foreshadowing because I vividly remember this. The competition episode where it's land creatures versus sea creatures. Mr. Krabs... This is the crazy thing. When they're ganging up against it, like, Sandy's given the things of how land creatures are better. Patrick gives his beef where he's like, oh, Squidward has this thing, like, well, what are you guys talking about? Mr. Krabs, without any hesitation, comes into that shot. You'll see it when we get to the episode. Comes into that shot and legit just has a pissed off look like, what's this squirrel talking about? Like, and I'm thinking to myself,
I'll be on the lookout for that.
All right, I see you, Mr. Krabs. All right.
Dang, racist.
If we ever get one dislike, we know where it came from. It was Mr. Krabs. Mammals. What would you change? That's gonna be.
I don't think I would have fired SpongeBob.
You wouldn't have fired.
I don't think. No, I don't think he should have just went straight to firing him.
It for sure was like.
I think
dumb.
it was too quick.
Well, also like you're gonna tell me like think about this, Mr. Krabs. From a business perspective, SpongeBob is probably your most profitable employee.
You better let that go.
Right.
You better let it go. If he wants to do karate, let him do karate.
Let him do it. As long as he's doing his work, like. Yeah. Give him the little threat, like, listen, if you do it again, that's it. But to fire him right off the bat?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, I'm trying to think of what I would change. You know, this episode... Now, you know what? I don't know if I would change anything. I guess, like, some of the jokes, like, ran on too long, so, like, the plastic tongue... that's something where I was like, nah, you know, the toy, like, novelty tongue, it was like, all right, unnecessary. It's like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But it wasn't anything I would change. I guess, yeah, it isn't. I just think it's solid. But the meme-worthy scene or moment, SpongeBob crying. I had it.
That's the best one we can come up with. Or...
Let's hear it.
What about the hot sauce drop?
Oh, with this drop of hot sauce to be really, really hot. I guess that could count too. The hot sauce one can. Yeah. I also think
because that was interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was disgusting. The homeboy SpongeBob drank the mug, cried it back out, and then drank it again. Like, ugh.
It was full too.
Yeah, like it just was disgusting. But yeah, I mean, overall, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I just can't unsee the fact that this is a sex metaphor episode. Like,
or it could be anything. It could be drugs. It could be.
It could be drugs, but clear.
There's other things. See, what makes me say it could also be drugs is like he's hallucinating. That everything is Sandy.
Yeah, and Sandy is his drug. I guess.
Well, no. Karate is the drug. Now you saying Sandy is the drug makes it go back to sex.
Because I feel that way. Like, because he wasn't doing karate just by himself. And I think that's the thing. Like, Sandy was, even in the vision where he karate chops Fred's leg, who did he envision that was? It was Sandy.
It was Sandy, yeah.
That's why I said, like, nah, like, when listen, I know what
yeah, I mean, there's other things that definitely make it think like it's sex. Whether we, maybe we're reaching or not, but I feel like it's a funny take. But
I think it's insane. I think I'm just lost of words when I found that out. Like, my whole mind was just like, what?
Because that came off the dome. I didn't even. Like when they
they were
chilling
like on the seat. Like, wait a minute,
because they were like, right now,
you just broke ground. Like, Keels, you're going down in the history books for that one. Facts.
Yeah, we have some good takes on here, man.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts?
Nah.
All right.
No other thoughts.
Nice little. I mean, after that was enough. That was a handful. All right, so this concludes another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. So until next time, this is Jared.
This is Keels.
I don't know. I would say another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter in the bag, but I might play a nice wholesome games of eels and escalators.
Oh, is that the next episode?
No, it's not.
Oh, what? Why did you even...
It's a game, Another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter in the bag. Got you. Yo.
Thanks for tuning in to another fantastic episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. Don't forget to follow Bikini Bottom Banter on TikTok and Instagram for even more content. Subscribe to them on YouTube and Anchor, plus turn on bell notifications to be updated on their latest episode. And if you've got your own jellyfishing stories or favorite SpongeBob moments, remember to share them with us. You might just hear them on our next episode. So until then, stay bubbly, keep smiling, and remember, subscribe to Bikini Bottom Banter to know all the under the sea.